Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Rachel here. Today we are going to be setting up my January bullet journal setup for the year 2022. Honestly, can't believe that it's 2022, but I guess I'll have to come to terms with it eventually. But for this month, it is mostly inspired by Amanda Rach Lee. I believe it was her 2019 January setup, was a gold Art Deco / Great Gatsby theme. That's, I believe, what she called it. And I just couldn't get it out of my head when deciding what to do for my January theme this year. And I think it really kind of shows, I feel like it is the aesthetic of a fresh start with all the clean lines and the simple colors and everything. So I thought it fit the first month of the year very well. I will go ahead and say that along with all of these spreads being inspired by Amanda Rach Lee, this video itself is highly inspired by the Mingo Studio, which you can find her here on YouTube. I have been very much enjoying her content recently. I find her very entertaining. And I love the way she talks during her videos, as far as the kind of the behind the scenes that she talks about when it comes to her bullet journal. Just kind of being honest about the art block that she goes through sometimes and all that good stuff. And so for this video, I thought I would try to be a little more transparent in that way, and just kind of talk through a little bit of my thought process as I do these bullet journal spreads. So for this cover page, I took, as I said before, most inspiration from Amanda Rach Lee. And I try to make some things my own, add a little bit here and there, but this one is very similar to hers. I will say that I edited a lot of the original footage out, just because with all the lines and everything and using rulers, I did move my bullet journal around a lot, and when I was watching the footage, it was very dizzy, honestly, and I didn't think y'all would want to see that, so I edited a lot out, but I did keep as much as I thought was appropriate. So if you keep seeing me skip around as I just did, then know that that's what happened. But you can usually tell on the lines where I used a ruler or where I got kind of lazy and decided I didn't need a ruler. For my quote page, I decided to go with a quote from Anne of Green Gables, which, if you didn't know already, I did do an Anne of Green Gables theme in May of 2021. If you go to the Instagram and on my YouTube channel, then you'll see all of those posts. I am a big Anne of Green Gables fan, and so I just had to use this quote again because I thought it was so fitting for a new month, new year, fresh start kind of thing. And the quote itself is, "Tomorrow is a new day with no mistakes in it yet." And I just thought that that was such a good motto going into the year, just to know that even if one day doesn't go exactly how you want it, the next day is a fresh start and a new beginning, and you just have to give each day everything that you have. And I'm very glad that I chose this quote, and I'm excited to see kind of how it plays out into my daily life. Here I'm just adding some washi tapes. I'm pretty sure that I got each of these washi tapes at Michael's. I know I got 2 of them at Michael's, and I think I got all of them. I don't know. But this is just kind of a different angle of the cover page and kind of how the gold shimmers. And then we're moving on to my monthly log, and this month I went with my favorite layout for a monthly log, which is just kind of the floating boxes. And I really like it when they're black. I feel like it just gives a very clean look. And I decided to use a kind of new setup as far as the dots at the top of the boxes. I started that last month in December. If you want to check that out, you can. And so I'm doing a gold circle at the top of each box, and when that fully dries, I will be going back in and writing the numbers of each day. On the bottom right and the top left of this monthly log, you'll see I've sketched out some kind of Art Deco arches. I'm sure there's a word for these, I don't know, but I'm just going to call them Art Deco arches. But they were honestly very hard to draw. Even though they were already sketched out, it was hard to get them exactly right. And I promise you, I got better as the monthly setup went on. I feel like since this is the first time I ever did them, I really struggled. And they kind of came out a little wonky, but I get better as it goes. And you really just had to kind of get used to drawing it. And yeah, but I do like how it turned out. I just think that I could have done better. I feel like I was a little sloppy sometimes. But I do it on the bottom, and then I did it on the top as well. And I really do like these little arches. They're really fun. I really wanted to keep all of these setups very clean and kind of like a fresh slate, I guess, for the new year, just so I wouldn't get boggled down in too many doodles. And I think I did pretty well at that. I didn't use all my normal colors. I'm a very colorful person, so I like colors. And so I really had to tone myself back a little bit. But moving on, this is my habit tracker for the month, and I really do love how this turned out. As far as layout goes, it's really very basic for me. I use this layout every month. I've pretty much never changed my habit tracker layout. Maybe that's something to look forward to or look into in the future, but I just kind of feel like if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So I really like this layout, and I just went with the same one. As far as the titles of each page, I did the same thing, this little box with the diamond on top. I thought that was a good simple thing that could be cohesive throughout each of the monthly setups. Now, I did change my mood tracker up a good bit this month. Typically, if you follow along, you know that I usually have a doodle mood tracker as far as it's little doodles that I color in each day of the month. But for this one, I decided to mimic mine after Amanda Rach Lee's for this month, which was basically just lines. So it's kind of like a graph like you would see in your math class. And on the left there are 3 gold circles that I will later color in, and later I'll put faces on those. So one face will be very frowny, one will be kind of and then the top one will be really happy. And so I'll kind of mark the graph each day based on how I feel. So this is definitely the most different mood tracker I've ever done, but I think it'll be fun, and I guess we'll just kind of see how I like it. And moving on, we have my finances tracker and my gratitude log. And for the finances tracker, I decided to go with this doodle that was also inspired by Amanda Rach Lee. And it was a lot of fun to draw. This one I could mostly freehand, which was a very welcome relief from having to use a ruler on everything. And this one kind of reminds me of like a sign in Las Vegas or something, where it's all bright and lit up and has all the different geometric shapes and everything. So that's kind of the inspiration for this doodle. But it was really fun to draw, and I thought it was a pretty element to add. It's very eye captivating. So I really liked the way this one came out. No idea what word I would use to describe the font that I used this month. All I know is that it is the one that Amanda Rach Lee did in this setup, and I guess it's kind of Art Deco. It goes with the theme or whatever, but I feel like there's a better word for it. But I used that throughout all the spreads, and to be honest, I feel like it's a little sloppy. I feel like I could have done a little bit better on it, but it's okay. We're good with it. And moving on, I actually have added this month a setup or a spread that I've never used before, and this one is inspired by Creative Mind Coffee Grinds. I don't know if you're familiar with her channel, but I also highly suggest you check her channel out. She has a lot of fun content, and I've been watching a lot of hers, and this is something she includes each month. It's a monthly review page. And I do one of these at the very beginning of my bullet journal for the year, but I thought it would be a fun thing to try out to do it for each month. So I have a box, and the box has 2 little squares, and the top one says the best memory, and the second one says highlights. So that'll be for me to fill out at the end of the month. And then there's also a space beside that box that says Polaroid. I have a mini photo printer that comes in handy, and so I'm going to use that to pick out, if I can, it'll be a very hard choice, but I'm going to pick out my favorite photo from the month of January and place it there. And I'm just really excited to see how this spread comes out at the end of the month, and hopefully I'll like it so much that I use it in future months. Now, January starts on a Saturday, so for this first weekly spread, there are only 3 days, and I actually did this wrong. Technically, it should be 2 days. My mom pointed that out, but it's okay. It happens, so I guess I'll just repeat a day. But for the background of this setup, I did these Art Deco arches again, but with points on the bottom, and believe me, this was so hard. It was so hard that I had to take my bullet journal off screen and finish it. So that is the end of the footage that I got. So now, after I've set up my background, we're going to do a flip through, because that is where it stopped, because it got a lot harder after that. But I hope that y'all have enjoyed this video and kind of the voiceover that went with it. I'm not very familiar with doing voiceovers. I'm very new to this. So if you'd like to, you can mention in the comments anything that you suggest to see in future videos and all that. I actually included all of the weekly spreads that I did off camera in this flip through, and I very much enjoyed those. As you can see, it did get a little easier to do all the designs as I went, because my hand, I guess, got a little more familiar with them. But thank you so much for watching this video.